Hi, Alan Hadley with My Photo Networks. Thanks for joining me for this next video tutorial on the proper way to hold your camera when shooting with a long focal length lens. Now, understand that when you shoot with a long focal length lens, the possibility of handshake is very, very high. So what I'm going to illustrate are different positions that you can put yourself in to actually steady not only yourself, but to steady your equipment and get the best shot. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, in this first little position, what we want to look at is if we're shooting across a field or into a wooded area, we're going to use a tree to actually position ourselves. And as you can see here, I've got quite a large tree. And if I'm shooting out into this direction, the first thing that I want to do is obviously find my shot, but I'm going to use my shoulder. And I'm going to position my feet so that I have a good stance. And you always, with any type of lens, always focus from underneath of the lens. In other words, hold your camera with one hand and have your other hand as a rest, so that if you were to trip or fall or something of that nature, your camera is going to fall in your hand. If you were focusing from up here, like this, okay, and you tripped and fell, or you stumbled, your camera has everywhere to go but in your hand. So the point is protect your equipment at all times by having your hand under the lens. Now, what I'm going to do is position myself and push myself against the tree, and that's going to get me really steady. When you're working with a long focal length lens, handshake is going to happen. So you want to get yourself as steady as you possibly can. And by doing it like this, you can actually not only zoom in and out, but manually focus and fire the camera. Another good way to steady your camera is to use your knee, and coming down on one knee and having one knee out, you can use your elbow as your tripod, and your hand is going to actually position your camera where you want it to be. Again, you can focus with this left hand and zoom in and out with this left hand. So you can come right in here and position yourself very well just by using your elbow and your arm as a position. So this is a really good position. The next position from that point would be down on both knees and then down on your legs. And what that's going to do is actually give you a seat so that you can steady yourself. Again, pull your camera up, left hand underneath the lens. That protects the lens from falling forward if you were to lose your balance. Okay? So let's move on to the next position. Okay, the next position is actually laying down on the ground. This perspective is going to, especially with a long focal length lens, is going to give you very shallow depth of field. If you shoot at 5.6, f8, f11 from this position, the ground's actually going to fall off very quickly in front of the lens. That's a good thing for your composition, but what you want to do is position yourself down as low as you can get and then pull your camera up. Your elbows are your support. Once again, your left hand is supporting your camera, your right hand's firing the camera. So as you get yourself in this position, you can pull that camera up, you can turn in different positions, and all you're doing is just rotating your body. And because you're laying on your stomach, you're very, very stable. So shooting with a long focal length lens from this position is going to give you one of the best shots that you're going to be able to take from this position. So let's go on to the next one. The most important thing to remember about these positions is that there's all kinds of elements in your environment that you may be shooting in that you can use to prop yourself against, put your camera on, or lean up against, okay? Now, let's look at this little pedestal that's right here. It's a little stone pedestal. Now, this could be used like a tripod. I could actually come in and use my elbows and spread my feet out to get a good stance, okay, so that I can shoot across an area. Or if I was shooting at a really slow shutter speed with this long focal length lens, I could literally set my camera right down onto the surface itself, use my time exposure, and actually shoot my shot that way if I chose to. The point is, you can lean against this. There's so many different options that you could use with this particular stone pedestal to be able to position yourself and steady your camera shooting with that long focal length lens. Okay, the last position I want to show you is one that's really, really simple, but it's effective. what we're going to do is take our camera. We're going to take our left hand. We're going to take our left hand and put it on our right shoulder, and we're going to use our elbow as our platform, okay? And literally set our camera right up on that elbow and shoot from there. And what you'll find is it will steady your camera very well. The key to making this work is the position of your feet. And if you'll notice, when you look at my feet, my stance is very, very wide. As you can see, my stance is going to be about like this. So whenever I come up to this position, I'm going to bring my left hand up to my right shoulder and bring that up as a table and actually shoot from here. This position of my feet is going to stabilize me. My arm is going to stabilize my camera. So there's no possibility of me falling over. Of course, unless a tree fell and hit me, but I doubt very seriously that's going to happen. So with that said, that brings us to the end of this short tutorial. I appreciate you joining me for this one, and I look forward to our next.